On this week's episode of the Pit Crew podcast, we predict what will happen in this weekend's Italian Grand Prix. Hello and welcome to the Pit Crew podcast. My name's Ed. This is my co-host Dylan.
Hello.
And this weekend is the Italian Grand Prix, the first of many. I think there are about 3 or 4. I think we've
Three.
got double. Yeah, we've got at least 3. We've got lots of Grand Prix in Italy, like in the good old days. This one is at Monza, the Temple of Speed. We race there each year. Last year, won by Charles Leclerc in the period of Ferrari dominance during the 2019 season. Now, first thing we do in our predictions episode is predict the team performance order. I'm actually going to shake it up a little bit. Obviously, Mercedes on top, closely-ish, followed by Red Bull, as close as anyone gets to Mercedes these days. And then third, I think it's going to be a battle for Renault, as I said in the Belgian Grand Prix race review. Racing Point may be, but they didn't look strong at Belgium. So, and Spa's Monza's quite similar to Spa, so I think Renault could occupy third, along with maybe McLaren, I'm hoping. And then Racing Point, all in that cluster, and then you've got the usual back markers and rest of the field. And Pierre Gasly doing very well and overachieving in that AlphaTauri. Do you agree with that, Dylan?
Yes, I agree.
Good. Yes, good. Now, as I said last weekend, we are hoping for a Daniel Ricciardo podium. The shoey he didn't get one in 2019, so we're hoping that he can get one. It'll be a good way for him to round out his time at Renault to get a podium for them. It'd be nice. And I do genuinely think he has a chance. What about Ocon, Dylan? Do you think Ocon's got a chance?
I don't think he's as quick as Ricciardo, but
no.
he could have a chance if the leaders have a crash or something.
As I said, we kind of took Daniel Ricciardo's 7 wins in that Red Bull when he was there for granted, but he really is really quick. He's quicker than everyone used to think, and that's really come to light now. He's in a slightly slower car and he's still bringing those incredible P4s out of the car. Now, Dylan, what is your prediction for the qualifying top 5?
I've predicted Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricciardo and Ocon. The Renaults had a good pace, finishing 4th and 5th in Spa, so they should be able to carry that over from Spa into Monza.
Low downforce setups that you run at both tracks. I agree with you. 4 out of 5, Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricciardo. But I've gone Albon just because I know his qualifying pace is not as good as maybe should be in that Red Bull, and he's not very good at qualifying. But I think he's going to be able to get that P5 instead of Ocon. I just think Ocon's not as consistent, not as quick as Albon. So I think Albon's going to get that P5. But yeah, I do agree that the Renaults are going to be up there, maybe Ocon P6 on my side of the predictions. Now, onto the race. Monza, typically, it's quite high tyre wear. The race there can be exciting. I wouldn't say it's regarded as a track of absolute chaos. I mean, it is regarded as a track of absolute chaos on F1 2019 and F1 2020 online lobbies. If you play those games, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. We might put a picture on the screen of the typical carnage you get at Monza Turn 1. If you look at the map on the right left-hand side of the screen, you can see that the first corner is a chicane, and there's a long run down from the grid to there. So on online lobbies, it's carnage because people forget to use their brakes, don't they, Dylan? I'm sure you've had experiences of that.
That's why I don't race online.
Yes, stick to the AI. Anyway, it's not a gaming podcast. What do you think will be the podium positions for the race this weekend?
I think Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas.
I've gone
Hamilton, staying with those 3.
Bottas, because Mercedes 1-2 is kind of, in other news, water is wet. It just makes the world go around, the Mercedes 1-2. And I think that P3. I mean, this is hope rather than a prediction. I'm going to go P3 for Daniel Ricciardo. I'm just hoping. Actually, you know what? If I'm hoping that much, I'll just put George Russell in P3. No, I'm going to stick with why, because I'm hoping for anyone
Williams,
to get a podium. You know, if everyone crashes out and there's only 3 runners left, still a podium for Williams. You don't need to remember the rest of it. You can Photoshop that bit out, but you know, we're daydreaming too much about the outcomes of the race. Now we've got to predict fastest lap. It's a bit of a normality. I'm just going to go with my predicted race winner, Hamilton, to gain fastest lap. Although, saying that, Ricciardo did get fastest lap on the last lap of the Belgian Grand Prix, but I am still going to stick with Hamilton. Dylan?
Bottas.
What do you think?
I think
Bottas?
Maybe. Yes.
He is a good qualifier. I'd say his qualifying pace is a lot better than his race pace. Would you tend to say that?
Yeah, but this is the fastest lap on the race.
Yeah, I know. But 1 lap pace. Qualifying pace,
True,
1 lap pace, same thing. Really.
If he has a gap, he might be able to switch to the softs.
Yes, and do one of those safe stops, which we saw Verstappen do at the first British Grand Prix, which lost him the race. Now, what do you think will be the biggest disappointment of the race? Now, this race, I think we are allowed to say Ferrari.
Yes,
because
Ferrari
it's one of their own home GPs, and
they got 3 chances.
They've got 3 chances, and Ferrari to not be on the podium at Monza. Or anywhere, or not even in the points at Monza. That is a big disappointment. So I am going to go Ferrari to be the biggest disappointment. Now, Dylan, you've got to think of another biggest disappointment. Sorry, I stole it from you there.
Maybe Haas not getting a points because their engine supplier is Ferrari as well.
Yeah.
So it's the
maybe
engine
the Ferrari
supplier's home Grand Prix.
Doing well. Kimi being the
Kimi
top
did pretty well in Spa.
This is kind of a bit off topic, Dylan, but do you think Gunther Steiner should be fired from...
Nah, I think he's good.
Gunther Steiner's team principal of Haas.
I think he's a fun principal, team principal.
He's a firm principal. That's certainly... and
he doesn't mess about.
Yeah, he doesn't mess about. It's certainly been displayed in Netflix's Formula 1 Drive to Survive series. You'll know what I mean if you've seen it. Anyway, what do you think will be the biggest surprise of this weekend?
Maybe Alfa Romeo getting a point.
Yeah? Williams getting a point?
Kimi was close in Spa.
Come on, Williams, get another point. What about Daniel Ricciardo on the podium? I mean, that is still a surprise, even though the Renault performances has the potential to do that. I'm going to go Daniel Ricciardo on the podium or Williams in the points. Dylan, what are you going to go for?
I'm going for Alfa Romeo in the points, specifically Kimi.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I could see that happening. You could actually say that Ferrari not being in the points is also the biggest surprise.
True.
But I'm not going to do that. It's kind of cheating.
Yes.
It's using 1 point twice, and that's cheating. Going back to the Ferrari, actually, Mugello, which is the track that we're racing at for the second Italian Grand Prix, the weekend after this. So that will be the weekend beginning the 12th, Friday the 11th, Saturday the 12th, that weekend. That's at Mugello, and I think, if I'm right in saying this, Ferrari actually have fans at that race. Dylan, if you could furiously Google away in the background to check that. But I do think they do actually have fans there, which for their 1000th Grand Prix, which is impressive for any team to get to. That would be so sad if they had their fans there. They didn't even get a point, or let alone a podium. It would have been nice to see. It would have just been nice to, Ferrari won at their 1000th Grand Prix with fans, because they don't have fans in any other races. That would just be really nice to see. If you're listening to this, you can tell that Dylan is furiously Googling in the background, and I'm trying to keep this running. Dylan, come on, Dylan. Okay, we'll do this at the end of the episode. Moving on. Do you think there will be a safety car?
Wait, I think I found it.
You think you found it all?
I don't think there will be a safety car.
You don't think there will be a safety car? I could see it happening at Monza. It's a high-speed track, and if something goes wrong, it really goes wrong.
It says it's considering allowing fans to attend.
I'm going to Google it as well.
I think it is. They are thinking about having fans.
Yeah, as I was saying, it would just be very, very. It would be nice to see that. Mercedes just please. Oh yes, yep. This will go up on the screen. Mugello confirms almost 3,000 plans will be present at the special race for Ferrari. They have confirmed it. There will be fewer.
But Ferrari fans?
Fans, not Ferrari fans, but fans. But probably Ferrari fans will get there. That's if you don't know what we're talking about. Sorry, Dylan's mic is muted when he's not talking, but we're glad you didn't have to hear that. But the police car or an ambulance just went blaring past Dylan's house. God, that broke my ears. And he's back now. Now I do think that brings us to the end of this week's predictions for the Italian Grand Prix.
Have you got a fun fact?
Fun fact. My interesting fact. I can't find an interesting fact. I'm committed to quality, Dylan. I don't just spew out rubbish.
Honestly.
Did you just say, are you sure?
I said honestly.
I'll try. I promise I will find one for the next episode we do. But in the meantime, we will see you on Monday or Sunday for the race report on the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. But in the meantime, I've been Ed.
And I've been Dylan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.